welcome to 4 Models Kit Review time. Today we've actually got Bandai's 1/12 scale Death Trooper from Rogue One. Absolute fantastic looking kit. We love black armour, we love the Shadow Trooper, the Stormtrooper, the Scout Trooper. Now we've got the Shore Trooper coming along as well, so we're actually going to have a fantastic lineup of figures to build. Being Bandai, we know these are exceptional quality, beautifully moulded, fantastically engineered and go together exceptionally well. So basically, quick run around the box. As you can see, absolutely looks fantastic down here. A couple of troopers on the front. We can see, usual thing, bit of a still from the actual the movie itself, plus the fact we got the figures and the weapon systems that it actually comes with. And then just going around on the box like this. So your kit number for this one is 0209052, and we've got a little bit on the back and everything else like that. So in the kit, we actually have, stick that there. Usual thing, couple of sprues. Now to be honest, these are all going to be in black, let's face it. And we'll have a quick look in the box. So, usual beautiful pull out with the actual trooper himself. Okay, now usual thing with the old Japanese instructions, they do tend to sort of run around in funny order and all the rest of it, so you just want to keep a little bit of an eye out. Okay, so usual thing, starting off with a helmet with all the troopers, as you can imagine. So basically, as you can see, we've got these down on here, the actual parts going in, the lower face part, the clear part going in for the lenses, and then obviously the breathing apparatus going down there, the earbuds, top of the helmet, and that's your completed helmet system done. Check, okay. Then moving on into number 2, so obviously we're talking about the upper torso. So the usual way, now if you've ever built these kits before, they are going to follow the similar way. So the usual thing about putting the shoulder joints in, the torso and things like that. Then onto the other side, actually putting the chest plate in there, and then obviously the armour being fitted in and working your way right the way down the entire body, as per much we've seen all the other ones to do. Okay, so we've got the neck piece going in, we've got the shoulder blades going in, down in there and everything else. All right. Then we're working down into the lower sections. So we've got obviously the sort of thing around the crutch and the hip joints and everything else being put in there, putting all the little armor plating and the pouches and the bits and pieces down all onto those, as we can see. And obviously there's a few more of these compared to what we've seen in previous incarnations of the Stormtrooper. We've got the ammo pouches up onto the shoulder, completes that section. Then we're working into the lower legs. So the usual thing, starting in the thighs, putting all those places in, then into the legs, the lower legs, and then the foot joints and everything else being put in there just like that. Then obviously multiples of those. Over onto the other side, just following right the way through, so then you end up with the 2 legs, and then obviously pushing those in and clicking them into position. Then it's on with the arms, standard way with the arms right the way through, as we've seen in all the other ones, and then coming along, putting all of those in and everything else, as we might imagine. Usual thing, just take care, your left and rights, things like that, and then obviously your front and backs as well for the elbow joints and things. Just make sure you get those all around the right way, you'll have no problems at all. The hands, obviously multiple hands, so you can have it fists holding the weapons, whichever sort of one you want. They are interchangeable, so it's well worth just building them all up, and then you can change them as you like as it goes right the way through. Arms being fitted on there, and there you have your completed trooper. Okay, then obviously at the top we've got your usual array of weapons, so obviously popping those together, which is usually a complete delight as well. All of those, and then we're down onto the stand. This stand on here gets spoken about a lot, I get asked about. It's an optional extra. You can have them as opposing ones, so you could do them jumping and various bits and pieces just like that on the back. So pretty straightforward. And then obviously some of the small details being put onto these, as you can imagine, there isn't much. So we get the option obviously of stickers or decals, whichever way you want to do it, which you're going to put the details down into the weapons and that. Personally, you might want to hand paint them in. They're very small, very petite, and it wouldn't take too much to do those at all. But as you can see, all of those right the way through. All right, but we'll look at those because we're actually going to build this just after the review. So, usual thing with these. Well done with my knife. Knife's going to run up, so I'll just go into phase 2. Okay, so these are the decals we were talking about. So we've actually got the decals there, as you can see. No problem with those at all. As I say, you'll get stickers, but they'll be in the other one. Right, straight off the bat, as you can see, down on here, beautiful shiny plastic, very deep black plastic right the way through on all of these. So if you have a small run round, as you can see down here at the top, all the parts beautifully done. So we've got the helmet, we've got the actual hand guards, we've got the actual backpack system, the front one, nice to see this threaded webbing system being put through on those and everything else like that. And then all the other parts, so we've got lower face mask, chest plates, the thing around the crutch, top of the helmet, as you can see, very nicely done right the way through. And then on this side we've actually got arms and legs, sorry, this is legs and thighs, got the arms down the bottom here and everything else running right the way through. The shoulder bells are a nice touch because you say you've got all the moulding of the different areas on those right the way through. Very nice indeed. And then on the black side, as you can see, or the back side, beautiful, nice, clean, crisp moulding right the way through. I'm not even going to tell you about sink marks or flash or anything else like that, because these kits just do not have them. They are that void. The stickers, okay, a lot's been said about the stickers. Personally, I like them. I like the way they have no carrier film around them, so when you put them on, they precisely fit inside recesses, where obviously if you've got the other ones, they have a little bit of carrier film, they can be a little bit of a pain to fit in. So normally, to be honest, I use the stickers. Okay, so we've got a couple down here. This is the poly one, which has got all the sort of poly areas for things like the joints and makes things click in and work but hold as well and everything else like that. If you haven't used them before, they are absolutely a delight to use with no problems whatsoever. Okay, this guy over here, as you can see, it's a duller plastic on this particular sprue right the way through. So you can see we've got the shoulder blaze on here, the soles of the boots as well. This is in quite a softly molded plastic. Same with all of these as well, a little bit duller. The hands, as you can see, beautifully molded. We've got the pads on the inside of the hands and everything else fantastically detailed. And then on the outside, even with the fingers, we've got the fingers actually with the details molded into those as well right the way through. So that is beautiful. Right the way down to the footwear, great looking stuff, no problem with that. And then over on here, again, it's a flatter plastic. This isn't as glossy because it's the underside, okay? So you've got the two bits, you've got the outer one and the inner one. And again, absolutely fantastic. Usual thing, very clever what Bandai do, and this is this sort of multi levels of injection molding. So down here we've got some metal color work down in there for the belt buckles and the sort of I think the weapons pouches and things like that down in there, and then working our way right the way across. And on the far side, you see we've got the green tint for the visors and for the breather, okay, right the way through. And generally looking around at this, you can see beautifully done, very nicely molded. More hands we spoke about down here. So across the bottom here you can see the different types of hands you've actually got. We've got the extra ammo pouches, things like that, right the way through. Again, absolutely looks fantastic. And our last sprue, right, okay, we've actually got the stand. It's a generic stand, comes with all of them, so we're not too worried about that. And then what we've actually got here is the guns, again molded in this nice metal color. You can catch it, it's like a blacky, like a metallic black. It's like a fleck running right the way through. Again, very nice. So we've got the different types of the blasters all down in there, as you can see, literally like that right the way through. And some of the other little parts as well. So obviously the weapons fit, we've got the pouches, anything else that is the extra mags, things like that in here. The thermal detonator pouches and everything else are in a slightly different one, and we've got a little bit for the respirator, again in a slightly different molding right the way through. Generally, you cannot fault these things. These are absolutely perfect and beautiful, and to be honest, I'm really looking forward to the 1/6 one, which should be with me here next week as well. So if you want them a little bit bigger, they're coming out a little bit bigger, starting off with a standard white Stormtrooper. Right, let's put it together. Okay, so here we go. We're going to run through the entire build step by step. So step one over here, working on the helmet. So I've already cut all the pieces out just to speed things up. So we've got B13, which is the side of the helmet, just literally like that. Okay, and then we've got A2, and that is going to just slot in. Actually goes in the top of the head as opposed to the bottom of the head. So it actually goes in right at the very top, not in the bottom. Okay, so actually this makes the brow around the front of the helmet. Okay, and then we've got the other side is going to fit in and join up. Okay, so that's both sides of the helmet down in there. Next up, we've got the actual front visor area. Okay, and we've got the visor which is the clear part, okay, which is A2, which is this green area here, and that is just going to pop in, and it just sits on the top literally like that. Okay, and that's going to then slide in underneath here and give it that all in Death Trooper nose look to it, literally just like that. Okay, next we got the lower part over here, so we've got the actual breather apparatus, and we've got the clear parts again for the green, and they are just going to slide into these. Do they go any further in, or do they just, yeah, they're going to push right in, and they're going to go right to the very end, and they push all the way in so it's flush at the back. Okay, so make sure you give it a good nudge to make sure you're all in. Okay, and then this is going to then fit up into the nose. Okay, so you get that nice difference between the flat and the actual gloss black on there, literally like that. Top of the helmet, make sure you clean up the little tabs from the underside and everything else. That is literally just going to come in, and then hopefully it should just be a straightforward push fit in at the top. Then we got the earbuds, so we've got two different types on here. Okay, so we've actually got the first one, it's just going to go down on the side, and it pushes right the way in like that. And then we've got the external part on there, which is B2, which is basically like a targeting system, or an eyepiece just goes on there. And then this side, it has it, so you can either have it with the targeting piece on or without. Okay, we're going to leave our little targeter on there, but if you wanted to, you could have them without this part on the actual head. And there we go, check, that's number one done, just like that. So very straightforward with that. Next up, we're into the upper torso. Okay, helmet done. Next up, we're going to do the actual upper torso area. So as you can see it just down on here, we've got these areas in. Pretty straightforward down here. So what we've got is A35, okay, which is this little guy down here. Then we have got these, which are basically PC 8 and 9, so that's off your poly one. All right, so we've got 8, which is this side. Okay, now these push into the hole. Okay, so you get your hole down there, and these go in and they click in. Now the great thing about these is it supports the actual shoulder, makes it extremely strong when it goes together, and it stops this from popping out. Okay, but just make sure you get your 8 and your 9 put in the right way, and make sure they push in all the way home. Just don't push them in till they click, push them beyond that so it fits all the way in. Okay, PC11, which is this guy down in here, he slots into the top of the bottom bit, and that's your midriff. Okay, so it's your wobbly bit at the top of the torso. So with all of those in, then you can just come along and put the rear plate on. So this is A34. Okay, so that is just going to come in, and what it does is literally lock that entire section together, so you have the body done literally just like that. Then it's on with the back plate. Okay, so your rear plate, you got these two with the holes literally just going to go over the back, so that's B22, and that fits in, and that way you can get the difference between the armor and the actual the under one, which is obviously the matte finish. Then you've got the backpack itself, okay, facing downwards, locating holes at the back, very straightforward for that one. So that's B16, and that's literally just going to push in to the back, make sure it pushes in firm and all the way, and that is in there like that. Okay, on the front you have an option. So we've got this guy down here has strapping, or you can have it with the larger buckles without the strapping. Okay, we're going to go with the whole hog and have the strapping as well, but it is a little nice touch that you get the option for both of these. Now this actually goes to the rear of the collar and pushes right the way over the front and fits in there literally down like this. So you've actually got this strapping, then you can actually fit the straps onto it as well. So down in here we've got the straps themselves, and again they're tabbed and ribbed and everything else, so you can't get them on the wrong way around, but they can be just a little bit fiddly to slot into the said slots. Okay, so we're just gonna make sure we have got this around the right way. Okay, so that fits on that one down there. which is B3, and we got B4, which are going to hide all the joins and everything else on there, literally like that. Very straightforward. Alright, so that's looking nice, but if you did want to, you could change over and you can have this chest plate on there, whichever way you wanted it. Okay, so that's that one. Next up, we can do the lower body area. Okay, so down here we've got A41 and we've got A39. Again, you got the option, you could use A40 if you wanted different sort of patterns and various things on here and things like that. So you've got just different versions of it down on here. Alright. But again, we're just going to go the ones with all the straps and all the buckles and everything else. That's the way I'm sort of looking at this one. So this is straightforward, so it is top to bottom. So you just clicks together and pushes through, just like that. Okay, and you've got the little back piece down in here. Okay, and that is just going to fit on. Sorry, the front piece this is. Okay, and that clicks down on there, which is B15. Okay, very straightforward. Then we've got the rear pouch at the back, okay, which I think is for the old thermal detonator pouch. Okay, so that is just a simple job of pushing these together. This is B8, B9. Okay, so this is all this one down on here. Okay, so that's all of these going on. Just pushes on, and then these two are just going to come into the back area. There's only one way it goes. It's keyed to the top and bottom. Click, and that's in there perfectly, just like that. Okay, next up we got the neck as well. So we've got A47, A46, and again these only go one way. That pops in there literally like that, and then obviously smaller part of the neck is just going to click into here, and that clicks in. So obviously just looking for the right way round of the neck, and then the bottom piece for the bottom torso will come up and it will push up. Okay, so that one just comes up, and that is a click. So that's his body on, literally like that. Then we've got his shoulder lapel. Okay, so that can drop in on there now, and obviously it's held on by his head. Okay, so then that will going to just come in, and again, bit of a click, and there is your trooper springing to life. Okay, beautiful work. Looks absolutely gorgeous, fantastic. Loving the different textures involved in all of this one. He's looking absolutely the part. All right, so that's that one done. So next up, we're going to work on the actual his hips and the groin area, everything else like that, and then we can get on with the legs. Okay, on to part 3. What we got down here is the actual weapon pouches and the lower torso, as we were saying about. So round the hips area, we've got this guy just down on here. So this is A26, and we've got these two little rubber guys, which are PC6. Okay, now these, so what's going to happen is you're just going to put one in backwards. Okay, so that fits over and comes through. Okay, right the way to the bottom, and this one goes over the top. So you make it so it is literally just like that. Okay, so that one goes in, pretty straightforward. Okay, so we've got those in, and then we've got the actual the midriff area. So making sure you've got the open cut to the top, so it can push down into it and lock in. All right, and then we've got this little guy over here, which is A4. Okay, and that is going to lock in, I assume. We just have a look at this one. He is going to go in, and it's going to push in and just sit on there, so it hangs down just like that. Okay, so that one goes in, and then all gets locked together, sandwiched in, which pushes it all in, and then obviously these will be his ball and hip sockets are going to fit onto these guys. Okay, so there we go. We've got this guy when they're soft as well, so they can maneuver around and everything else like that. So with that done, then we can come up, make sure that's pushed in firmly. So we've got the front half. Okay, so that goes in, and then obviously we've got the front, which we haven't cut out yet. Just pop this off the sprues. Okay, nice clean cuts. Okay, and this guy is going to fit in the back. And again, a bit of a push make sure it all fits firmly with all of this, but there we go, that one's on literally just like that. Okay, so with that part in, then we've got the front and rear plates. So we've got this guy, again it's keyed, if you look in here, this is how it's all going to fit. So we've got this first one, the sort of utility belt, that fits in there like that. Then we've got this guy, which is that metal colour, which is the A30. Again, it's keyed, it only fits in one way, and that will marry up on the front. And then we've got the rear part going on. Okay, and that is just going to click in and fit in right the way round like that. Again, making sure you've got no real joins, and that means it's all in there properly. All right, so that's that one on. Then we've got these guys down here. So we've got lots of these. We've got the A2 51s, okay, and they are literally just going to fit and push in straight on the front, these pouches. And then you've got these little guys. Just a tiny bit of clean up on this one. Okay, they go on and then they fit on the front, and then you can literally make some more of these up. So we've already done this one as well for the other half. So that's one on there and two on there, just like that. Then we've got this little guy as well, and he's going to be a little utility one as well. Sorry, which is it? This guy, little one here, this little pouch, and he is A52, and that pushes in there and fits on there just like that. And then round the back we've got these little guys as well, these little pouches. All right, so they're going to go on. So this is C7, so that one's on, and we've got another one on this side, and that's going to fit in there. And then we've got a following pouch round on here. That's all those fitted in, and we need B10, which I don't think we cut out yet. Now this is the little stand, so if you were using the stand, this is the, you wouldn't need this one, this is that optional stand, but we never use the optional stands, so we can just pop this in, and this covers up this small little hole at the back. Okay, and if I remember, it's always the little lip goes to the bottom. Okay, so that fits in there. What happens is you can actually get your nail in there to lift it up, but push it in there because actually it does just sort of pop out. Alright, so there we go, that's his utility belt, and the bits and pieces done on there, literally just like that. So you can come up and we can push these in. There we go. So that's his torso put in there. That's what I was saying about this little guy. You might want to give it a dab of glue. I found in the past that these do tend to pop out. They're hard to get out like that, but then you give them a shake and they come out. So a tiny dab of glue in there would just hold that in and stop that going anywhere. So that one's in as well. All right, so that's fine. Okay, next up we've got just down in here, we've got the extension on the midriff to this sort of utility pouch, like a cummerbund. Okay, so we've got this little guy down on here, and then basically working our way around, we've got C23, and that's going to go out. Now these are, again, very nicely all keyed in a certain way. You can look on here, it's actually got a key so you don't get the pouches in the wrong place, which is a really nice touch. So we've got number 24, they fit on, and these are the magazine pouches. Okay, and we've got 21. And they've even got detail for the mags at the top. Okay, so that's those all put on, making sure they're squeezed in nicely. Okay, so that's that one, no problem with that. And then down on here we've actually got looks like more thermal sort of detonators and things. Okay, so down in here we've got this guy, again a couple more ammo pouches on here. Okay, so this is C25, this is this one here, and then we've got C12. Okay, then C12 fits in the back. Okay, and it's just going to hook in. Okay, and this is on a movement thing, it actually moves up and down, so you can move it up and down just like that. Okay, and then on the bottom of it we've got the lower part, which is these ones, which are then going to push up and they go up in the underside. So again, looks like more sort of thermal detonators and all the rest of it, literally just like that. Now depending on if you want the central one without this cover bund, you've got this little guy here, okay, which would fit in there just to cover that hole, literally just like that. All right, but again, it's an option, so we're going to take it. So what happens is that this guy will fit in here. Okay, pushed on, no problem at all. And then this cummerbund sort of system will push in. I'm not sure if we want the harnesses behind or in front. It is calling out for them to be in behind. So again, these fit on, and you can sort of pull them down as if they're hanging. And that is on there like that, looking really, really good. Very nice indeed. Okay, so that's that one in up there. And then, to be honest, the last piece that is going to go up in here, we've got this one, which is the extra ammo pouches, which just pop in at the top there. Okay, and then that is going to be pushed in. Get this around the right way. There we go. That's in there. Takes a little bit of a shove. Okay, and there we go. Isn't he looking fantastic? Absolutely brilliant. Very, very good indeed. Okay, so that's looking very much the part right the way round. All of that. Great. Okay, so there we go. That's the body done. Everything else. Now we've got to just do arms and legs. Okay, so next up, the legs. All right, so down here, section 4, going in, we'll start at the top. Okay, so down here we've actually got C11, which is actually a plastic part, okay, and that's going to slot. Make sure you put it right at the top, okay. It needs to go very much to the top. If you don't go in the top, it'll be down too low and your leg won't fit. So just one little tip there. And then we got this guy, which is a polycap part. This is number 5, and that faces downwards. Okay, and it's just going to go in that slot. Right, if I can get it in. Try that again. Bit of a squeeze, but it fits in there. And then you should end up with it literally just like that. Okay. Alright, so with that both in, and then you can actually put the other part in against it. Now, one thing to make sure is that you've cleaned off the little tabs just in between. Okay, so you do get a slight overlap, so make sure you clean those off. That way you get a perfect and nice fit when these two do come together. Okay, and they lock in. Otherwise what happens is you get a gap, and this little bit of the gap can be a little bit unsightly. Okay, so that's that one in there just like that. Okay, next up we have to make the sort of knee joint. So down here we've got A26, and then we're using the polycap ones, the PC1 parts, and those just go in. Okay, and they'll just push in there like that. And again, just make sure you clean out, you got them down here, little tiny tabs. Okay, just down on there, and you need to do it on the other one as well, otherwise again you'll get a little gap. So just make sure you're aware of the little sprue joints, and if you look at the knee, it slightly kinks outwards just a little bit. It's not like a perfect line straight down. Okay, so with that one done, next up, just down here we've got the lower leg. Okay, so down in here we've got polycap 17, and that just fits straight in to here. If I can get him to go in and pushed in, nice tight fit. That's the one that's going to attach to the ankle. The top one, okay, down in here, it doesn't actually have one, all right, because what will happen is the lower knee joint will drop in. Again, make sure you've got your tabs all out of the way, and you'll be absolutely fine. Okay, and then that way you can put these in. Now, nice little tip, just here you've got an arrow for the up and down. Okay, so you get it the right way round, and obviously knee is to the front. That goes in, pushes it down, and then you've got the fork at the front. That is going to go in and push in literally just like that, and that gives you your working leg. Alright, just like that. Now you've got to do the foot. Okay, so for the foot parts, obviously again, make sure you trim off the little tabs that you'll have on the bottom of the sole, which is a rubber sole, and it's going to go into the actual shoe. So that's literally just two halves pushed together. Quite a nice touch that you get different shades of plastic with the shoes. Okay, just down here we've got the ankle joint itself. So this is a PC20, that just fits in there. Then we've got a little cap that's going to go, which is B42, and that just pushes in literally just like that. Alright, so then you just come up along with the foot, and the longest one goes down into the ankle joint and then goes in and clicks in and everything else. And that gives you a nice swivel joint on the ankle, and then your leg will literally just come along, and then your foot pushes up into the ankle joint, and again, bit of a nudge, make it click, and that just fits it in there very much like that. And then we've already done the other one, which is exactly the same, apart from you have this little bit of plastic just down here on the side. All right, so there we go, we have 2 legs fitted on just like that. Then you got the hip joint. Okay, so this is the socket, and again, to mention it, tiny little bit of plastic down here from the sprue tab. Make sure you remove it. Okay, it just makes that entire section flow a little bit easier, and there's one just down on here as well. So with both of those out of the way, then you can insert the joint. It probably won't make much difference, but it just makes things all a lot nicer. So once that's in, just come along, click that, make sure it fits all the way down. You want it to click so it fits positively into the socket. Bit of a brute force and ignorant, but you want it flush at the bottom. Okay, so when it's flush at the bottom, you know you're good to go, and then that way you have both your legs done like it. Now you do have a gap between the two. It's not like the original Troopers where they fit perfectly well together, and then you can just come up and then you can fit these in. Now, as you say, this can be a little bit fiddly, just lining up the socket and getting it to come down. So I sort of have it down as far as I can, insert it over, and then brute force and ignorance, it then goes in. Okay, and the same with this side. There we go. Both the hips into the body. That back part keeps popping off, and there we go. That's our leg system all in there, and that's our Trooper looking very much the part now. Okay, put his feet on the right way round. Okay, looking the part. Okay, next up, the arms. Okay, next up, part 5, we're going to move on with the arms. Now, the arms themselves, we've got the various parts down in here cut out already. Now, just remember with these, you make sure you get your lefts and rights, keep your numbering together because they are slightly different each side. The shoulders sit slightly different as well. Okay, so starting off with, we got these guys down on here. So what we have is the little ball joint, and we got these guys. Now, usual thing again, just making sure you are clear of any little tabs, and there's one just there. They are a little fiddly to locate and then eliminate, okay, but they are very important you do it. Again, we got another little one just down in here. Okay, that takes care of those. And these guys literally just push in, slide over, and then these will encapsulate them. Okay, so we've got 14 of 13 each side of it, and that is what's going to make your shoulder joint. Okay, so that's that one on there, literally just like that. Then the shoulder bells, and this is the difference where you have to make sure you get them the right way round. Okay, it is important. They are toothed the same. So if you look in there, hopefully you can see we've got 2 little tooths. If it doesn't go and doesn't push in completely flush, you've got the wrong way, but you might look at this, the shape of it as well, gives you a little clue that actually it is different to the left and rights. Okay, so once you've got that done, this section just pushes in, clicks on, and then it will allow this to pivot on top. Okay, and as the shoulder actually maneuvers, the entire shoulder bell will maneuver as well. Okay, so that's that section done just like that. Then you can move on to the actual arms. Now these have like an inner gauntlet. So you got this here, which is PC14. That is just going to go inside, and then you've got the 2 halves that are going to lock together, and then obviously that is the upper shoulder. Then you've got the actual outer arm parts and everything else like that. Okay, for the actual biceps, and these only actually go on one way because they are keyed. Okay, which is another very nice touch. I've got to remember which way around these go. Okay, so I'm thinking it was this way. No, it must be that way. There we go, 1 on, and then 2 on. Okay, those click on and complete that little arm section just like that. Okay, so with that one done, then you can move up to the upper and lower arm. Okay, so to start off with, we've got the elbow joint, and again, these little tabs just down in here. Okay, nicking one off there, and there's one there, and of course the all important one in the middle. Make sure they're nice and flush, and that way it will just make things a lot nicer. Okay, and then Okay, these then just poke up in here. So it's your elbow sort of section here, which is, to be honest, we're on the other side, we're up here now. So it's just PC13, they're identical both sides. Okay, so you're actually taking A16 and A17 together. They just fit over, and then when it is nice, you get hardly any seam just down there between them, which is a nice thing about it. Okay, so that's that guy done. All right, then you've got the lower arm, which, to be honest, I find it slightly easier just to pop this not together, but just slide it a little bit in there. Then take the wrist part, which is PC15, which is this little ball socket, drop him in, then push it together, because when you try and hold him there, it has a habit of flying off. Okay, so that is on there literally just like that. Okay, and then just like the others, you should see on here, you've got a little triangle, which means he's pointing to the top. Okay, so it's pointing upwards. So again, you can then just push him in, make sure he goes in all the way, nice and forcefully closed. Okay, and then we got this guy in for his arm section. So it's making sure we got the arm part correctly. Get it in there. There we go. Bit of a click, and that all fits in there. And that way we've got a nice shoulder joint on there, just like that. Okay. Then you've got the actual upper part of the arm that goes in. Make sure it clicks down completely flush, and you can see how this works now on the top. And then we've got a hand, and the hand, obviously we've got multiple hands, so we just pop one together for the moment, and that is going to go down on here. Then you've got obviously the little wrist parts off of them, literally just like that. Okay, so his arm can pivot and it can close, and you'll be able to fully articulate it and everything else like that. Okay, and that is literally how it goes. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so that is all on there, and then you can take your guy. Okay, a bit difficult because of this arm going up there, and then hopefully pop this into the socket, which shoots him just like that. Okay, and then this guy in there. Let the shoulders sit on there, all the rest of it. And you should all articulate, slightly pull out, and all those areas. And I think I've actually got the, that's it. That's it. And there we go, that's him in. Now this guy over here, he has this one on the outside, which is A229, okay, so that's just a little bit of weapon fit. But there we go, that's him in and on. Okay, as simple as that, very, very nice. Okay, so that's him done. So next up, what we've got to do is the weapons. Okay, so he's looking absolutely fantastic. Brilliant work on that one. So now we can do the weapons fit. So the weapons fit, we've got three choices. We've got the sidearm, the medium blaster, and the heavy blaster. Okay, so to be honest, the small one here, we have already fitted him, and he hooks in that belt loop system just down on here. Okay, so it actually hooks into there, and it sits there, and he's ready to grab it at a moment's notice. Okay, so that's that one. Pretty straightforward there, if he stands up. So next up, we got the medium one, which is sort of the more modern version one of them all. Okay, so just to start off with, pretty good. Seems to be very straightforward. It goes together. So we're just going to pop the two halves together, just to see what we go like. Okay, good old squeeze, get them in. All right, everything else. Now this one has got the folding stock at the rear. Okay, so we can actually put the little butt pad on there, and it is keyed like everything else, so it only fits in one way. Okay, so that's on there like that. Then we've got this sort of magazine-esque item here. Okay, so I'm just looking how that's going to teeth in. It looks like it's going to fit in like that. Okay, so that just fits on the side. Okay, so that one goes in. Then we've got a little light system. So we've got two of these. We've got the first one, which is, I do believe, this one. This one, whichever one it is. It must be this one. Alright, looks a little bit thin. Oh no, perhaps it will go on there. So it looks like a little laser or a flashlight or something else like that. Just goes on the end there. Okay, so that's that one in. Alright, then on the other side, we've got the actual magazine. Now, we've done this already. This is just 2 parts which go in. Okay, so you've got 18 and 13 just slot together, literally like that. And again, it's keyed. It can only go one way. So that fits in there literally just at the top like that. Okay, so there we go. That's him all in there. And it is sort of a recoilless type system, sort of very funny end on it. It looks like you're sort of missing a bit off there, but it's not. Okay, so that is that one on there like that. Alright, so there's that one done. Looks absolutely fantastic. The other one, which is obviously the favourite old big one. Okay, so we've got this one down here. 2 halves going to go together and push it all together. Literally like that. Okay, we've got the muzzle brake on the end, which is just straightforward fit. Just going to push on there literally like that. So that's C16 on there. This is where it gets a little bit different. We've got these 2 side parts. Okay, so this is how it's all going to sort of go. So this T bracket at the bottom, these are literally going to fit, okay, and push up, and then you've got little holes all the way through which hold all this tubing system in. Okay, so it's really personal choice on which way around you want to put these in. Okay, fit those all in, both sides, very nice. Then we've got this one here, which is obviously just the light system again, and we've got a little slot just down in here. Now there is decals and various bits and pieces for this as well, just to liven this up, or you could just go down in there on the paint route. The other thing as well we've done at the same time, we've got all the hands and the grips for them, depending on which way you want to do it. We've made them up already, so basically you just pop them in. Okay, and they should grip in just around them. Then you've got the outer part of the fist, and that will lock them in. And because we've already got the wrist joint up, we can just fit him with it if we wanted to, and we can do the same on this guy as well. I always think it's quite handy having the hands as well, so that way you haven't got to sort of do the tricky thing of getting the hands all apart to put it all in there. He says, trying to get this one open. Okay, and again you can have him left or right handed. So if you want to do a lefty friendly, you could do that as well. Okay, so you could do him too. You also get a fist as well if you want to fist bump him, okay, and everything else like that. But my little guy we're going to have up here with the heavy gun. So we just pop the hand off. Okay, that can then fit in. Okay, and then we can pose him with the heavy gun, whichever gun you wanted perhaps to have him with. And that is a great thing with all these hands, they are all posable and everything else like that, so you can sit in there with the gun itself if you wanted to do it. And that is him done. Absolutely fantastic. These kits are, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best things that's ever come into the hobby. Not only is it still modelling, it's good construction, but overall, and I say every time we do a review or a reveal build or anything else like that, the level of engineering is fantastic, the quality of the materials is off the chart, and then it comes up with something, as we've done in the last hour, to give us our little figure like this, who is absolutely perfect without actually having to do anything to him whatsoever. Okay, and there we go. That is our little Death Trooper, all sorted, all done. And so we've got other little bits, so if we wanted to set him up with other little weapons and various little scenes, things like that. And again, we spoke about, you've got different chest armor, little different touches here, there and everywhere right over him to sort of, you know, have them if you want to do 2 or 3 different versions of him, of the same trooper all the way through. a definite highly recommended. All the Bandai Star Wars series, as far as I'm concerned, are some of the best model kits you can buy out there. Definitely brilliant for a mojo. If you're losing your mojo with modeling, you could do something like this, and then if you wanted to, you could go on to paint, weather, and all the bits and pieces you'd want to do to these to sort of upgrade them or make them your own. So there we go. That is Bandai's 1/12 scale Death Trooper, a definite must.
Dream.